Okay, sir. Pretty straightforward.
So, yeah, how did you structure the answer?
So, India and China's recent relations have been affected with geopolitical and territorial disputes. In the arena of overall global politics, India and China have a complex and independent role, like intro. And and then, like on the trade front, India's trade deficit with China had exceeded $100 billion. India's import surplus could turn against India's interest due to excessive reliance on Chinese products. About the strategic front, India-China border issue is going on for more than 2 years, despite number of commander-level talks on the border. Particular friction points include Depsang Plains and Demchok. In the area of strategic security, India's commitment to Indian Ocean region's protection has put China at the opposite end of confrontation at the strategic level. India's grouping with Quad to check China's military adventurism in the Indo-Pacific region made China call Quad a clique with ulterior motives. India, on the other hand, had banned over 50 Chinese mobile apps on the question of espionage by these apps for the Communist Party of China. China had retaliated by calling for China had called for uninterrupted business conduction between the two countries. China's investments in Africa's development is about three times than that of India at $220 billion. However, local concern in Africa have emerged about the debt trap diplomacy of China against India's human capacity development programs. China's Belt and Road Initiative, on the other hand, and its route along Gilgit-Baltistan as part of CEPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is a serious front of concern between China and their relations. Recently, China's economy has been registering slower growth due to its stringent zero COVID policy and the apartment housing issues. India, on the other hand, is one of the few countries who has just registered significant growth after pandemic. This has motivated China plus approach amongst the investment partners of China, looking for additional countries to park their funds. Further, India's closer ties with America, particularly after the signing of BECA Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, has put India on a stronghold against checking of possible military aggression by China. India should undertake the policy of engagement, contain China wherever necessary, and engage wherever possible. The century of Asia needs a joint cooperation of both India and China. Peace talks on the border and mutual respect for sovereignty of each other should be upheld. Hello, sir, am I audible?
So, then, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think some network issue from my side.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you continue.
I completed.
Oh, okay. Like I heard about the intro and
Ah,
my network closed. So
oh,
can you
okay.
say that
I will.
again?
I'll just give like a in the beginning, like India-China relations affected by geopolitical and territorial disputes. In the arena of overall global politics, India and China have a complex interdependent role. On the
Okay.
trade front, the trade deficit of China is more than exceeded $100 billion. India's
Okay.
imports could turn against India's interest due to excessive reliance on Chinese products. On the
Mm.
strategic front, India-China border issues going on for more than 2 years, despite a number of commander-level talks on the border, including the
Okay.
particular points of Depsang Plains and Demchok. In the
Okay.
arena of strategic security, India's commitment to Indian Ocean region's protection has put China at the opposite end of confrontation at the strategic level. India's
Mm.
grouping to check China's military adventurism in the Indo-Pacific region made China call for a clique with ulterior motives. India, on
Mm.
the other hand, had banned over 50 Chinese mobile apps on the question of espionage by these apps for the Communist Party of China.
Mm.
China had responded with calling for uninterrupted business connection between the two countries. China's investment in Africa's development is about three times that of India at $220 billion. However, local concern in Africa have emerged about the debt trap diplomacy of China as against India's human capacity development program.
Yeah,
China's built.
but that does not come under India-China relationship, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
status of India-China relation.
Yeah, like just with the time, I
Okay,
couldn't.
fine. And
And China's Belt and Road Initiative and its route along Baltistan as part of China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a serious front of concern between China and the relations. Recently, China's economy has been registering slower growth due to its stringent zero COVID policy and the apartment housing issues. India, on the other hand, is one of the few countries who have registered significant growth after the pandemic. This has motivated China plus approach amongst the investment partners of China looking for additional countries to park their funds. Further, India's closer ties with America, particularly after the signing of the Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement, has put India on a stronghold against checking off possible military aggression by China. India should undertake the policy of engagement, contain China wherever necessary, and engage wherever possible. The century of Asia needs the joint cooperation of both India and China. Peace talks on the border and mutual respect for sovereignty of each other should be upheld.
Okay. So, like one issue is you have mentioned many facts and figures regarding the relationship. One issue I think is it has deviated from the core of the question. That current status of India-China relationship. Maybe you can bring in the geopolitical angles like India growing more affinity towards the West, Quad grouping, Indo-Pacific angle, those kind of things. And the issue is like one other issue is you can name, you can give a name to this current status. It's a conflict. It's a relation of tension, something like that. So you have to give a name. You have to place it somewhere. Okay. That's it. But the points are like okay. You have mentioned many things regarding India-China relation. So yeah, we will see the more lines.
Okay.
But what was the conclusion?
Okay. Just a minute. India should undertake the policy of engagement, the containment.
Okay.
And then the Asian century needs the joint cooperation of both India and China. Peace talks on the border and mutual respect for sovereignty should be upheld.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, you can take the official stand of Indian government. Like, without resolving the border issues, there is no scope for engagement. Okay, we will see the model. Visible. Okay. So India-China relation dipped to its lowest point during the Pangong-Tso border clashes of 2020, which saw loss of life on both sides. Post 2008, relations between India and China have been identified as a phase of strategic competition and growing tensions. Yeah, these are the names. These are the like, this answers what is the current status. The status is it's a relation of competition and growing tensions. Okay. This phase of conflict has been associated with the change in Chinese foreign policy under Xi Jinping. Deng era meekness was replaced with bold fire diplomacy and growing revanchism, example violations in South China Sea. On the India-China boundary and nearby, this has resulted in a series of border stand-ups and clashes. Dapsang in 2013, Doklam in 2017, Pangong-Tso in 2020, and Tawang in 2022. So this has been seen as China's salami slicing strategy to make favorable ground situations and grab territory on the border. After failed informal summit diplomacy, yeah, you can use this word, informal summit diplomacy, for mentioning that Wuhan summit and Mamaluran summit. India has recalibrated its response to China. India is actively engaging with groupings such as Quad, IPF in the Indo-Pacific. Both these groupings are issue-based coalitions with a common perception of Chinese threat. Recently, India has sought to push forward self-reliance and internal resilience via Atmanirbhar Bharat, production-linked subsidy scheme, etc. The underlying objective behind this include reducing dependence on China and or de-risking the Indian economy from the Chinese economy. This thing you have mentioned, right?
Yes.
India is also more wary of Chinese investment in India. In 2020, FDI policies were revised to prevent automatic route entry for countries including China. The Indian government has also prevented active role of Chinese Huawei and other firms in the 5G ecosystem. This is due to the concern about data security and strategic implications. Indian government has also banned a few of Chinese apps in the recent past. So conflict and uncertainty. Thus, India-China relation remains with a tension and uncertainty. Despite participation in platforms such as BRICS, SCO, and G20, relations remains cold. China's Middle Kingdom syndrome Yeah, these are the keywords. Middle Kingdom syndrome prevents it from conceding India's rightful claim to Asian and global leadership.
What is the meaning of it, sir? Middle Kingdom syndrome.
Yeah, it's actually a Chinese point of view. China is the middle of the earth.
Okay.
It's been there since ancient times, I think.
Okay, center of the world, center of the
Yeah,
universe.
exactly.
Hmm.
So emerging bloc politics of a Cold War 2.0 scenario also puts India and China in opposite blocks. India is increasingly aligning with the West, while China is attempting to revise the world order and in aligning with the players such as Pakistan. Dr. S. Jayashankar referred to the need for India and China to come together for the realization of an Asian century. However, growing strategic divergences and open hostility is the current scenario. So meaningful engagement can be built only if China gives up its revanchism on the Himalayan frontiers and abandons attempt to strong arming its Asian partner. Okay. So that's the conclusion aligns with the government policy.
And there are many catchy jargons related to foreign policy.
Yeah.
And if we
There are
highlight
keywords.
them, we should be highlighting them, right?
Yeah, it will be better if you highlight these things.
Yes.
De-risking.
So
Salami slicing.
ideally, we can take 15 minutes.
Yeah, ideally you can take 15 minutes. I think you should take 15 minutes or 20 markers because like return is more in 20 markers, right? So maybe you can take more time in 20 markers.
So when you write, do you start with 20 marker or go with
Sorry.
like, do you write the 20 marker first, 15 marker next, and 10 marker? What is your strategy?
Actually, I usually write in that order itself.
Question paper order.
Yeah, first 10 markers set first from the first part, and then whatever questions I select from the first part, and then go to the next section. Yeah, you can use that 35 minutes, like 5 sets of 35 minutes. So it amounts to 175 minutes.
Oh,
That's actually useful.
okay.
So you can use that 5 minutes for selecting the questions. So what are question you?
Okay.
Sorry for wasting your time. Like, some network issues.
No, it's okay.
Anything to add?
No.
Okay. So we will see you on Wednesday.
Okay. Thank you.